Fights are fights. Anything can happen. Fights are fights.
What does Saturday night look like for him?
Na tua cabeça, como é que é o sábado à noite? Como é que vai ser?
Braço pra ser levantado no final.
My arm gets raised in the end.
What are your thoughts on Ilia Topuria and Ilia Topuria as a fighter? How do you feel about just the overall fight?
É uma grande luta. Ele é um grande lutador, mas eu não preciso provar mais nada pra ninguém de quem eu sou, o que eu já fiz dentro do undefeated. Essa outra chegou numa oportunidade gigantesca. Eu vou nocautear esse cara. Essa é ela.
Who's gonna knock this guy out?
Sheesh. Sheesh.
Topuria himself has a lot of hype right now, but do you see anything in him that matches the skill level of those men you fought, or do you think you have to be doing this game for longer than he has to get to that sort of level?
Na realidade, cada
No, it all comes to every fighter has different levels of things, different approaches to things, and the way that they take up on fights. And Ilia is just coming out there and just very young, very hungry. He's also undefeated, but there's a lot to prove still. In reality, everyone knows what's going to happen. There's another dude that's talking that's going to fold in front of me.
Last week we spoke to you at a media day and you said that you expected Charles to march right towards you so you wouldn't have to go find him, and then yesterday he said, yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to march forward and get into a fight.
This is what he's going to try to do. That's not something he's going to do. He's going to try to do it. He's going to try to win.
Are you surprised, though, that he's so willing to get into this firefight with you, and does that play into your hands during the fight?
Not at all. That's his job. He has to be confident.
Do you think then this fight might just turn out to be almost like a 2-minute sprint until you land and end this fight early?
2-minute sprint? No. He's going to try to walk forward. He's not going to find a way to do it. And I'm going to make him play my game, as I said.
So many big fights in his career. Where does this one stack up with all the fights that he's had?
Tantas lutas grandes e épicas na tua vida. Onde é que essa entra? E nesse momento que você tá na tua vida?
Como algo gigante. É uma luta por título. Num cara que vem falando muito. É uma grande luta.
Something enormous, something for a title, for a guy that's been talking a lot. It's a great fight.
He said for Charles to bring a pillow because he thinks that he's going to knock him out in the first round. Like, what does Charles think when he hears stuff like that?
Temos o cara de falar muito, ele tem falado bastante, falou que pra você trazer um travesseiro, porque ele vai bater, você já vai te botar pra dormir no primeiro round. O que você acha disso?
Você já viu isso várias vezes, desses caras que falam ontem. E quando lá na hora você sabe o que acontece.
You've seen this a lot. People talk a lot and then talk up a good game, and then when go to face you up there, what happened? Michael Chandler obviously got a lot of firepower. Dustin Poirier hits really hard and knows how to hit. So, and I faced a lot of different guys. I faced guys with all different kinds of styles, and they know this, that I can confront them. The UFC knows that they put me in this place because I can actually stop them. I believe in this firepower that I have.
He thinks he's gonna knock him out.
Você acha que você acha que você vai nocautear ele?
Eu acredito que eu posso fazer isso. Eu tenho um poder de fogo nas mãos.
I believe I can do this. I have the firepower in my hands.
When asked about Ilia Topuria's punching power in crisp boxing, Charles Oliveira didn't deny it. He acknowledged Topuria's skills and gave him credit where it's due. But he was quick to remind everyone that he's gone through fire before. Oliveira pointed out that he's taken shots from some of the hardest hitters in the division. Michael Chandler, Justin Poirier, and Justin Gaethje still came out. On top, he made it clear that while he respects Topuria's abilities, he fully trusts in his own firepower and experience to get the job done.
Eu fiz o campo inteiro para essa luta.
Every single fight has prepared me to get better and to evolve. These fights I've gotten better with each and every one of them, and it makes me more ready for the next fight. I'll tell you something, the fight against Michael Chandler, I didn't train for a month.
Come on.
I had my knee injury. I did not train for a month. I only did, basically, I lifted weights to rehab. I did not train for a month. And for this fight, I've had a full.
Essa luta do Michael Chandler só aconteceu por causa desse cara.
Islam Makhachev didn't vacate this championship until Jack Della Maddalena became the world champion at 170. Was he under the impression that he would fight Islam opposed to Ilia Topuria? When did he find out that Islam wasn't going to be the guy that he's fighting? Because I heard he was getting the title fight before. When did he find out that it was going to be Ilia? Or was he always training with the idea that if Jack won, it would be Ilia Topuria?
Isso que torna você campeão, você ter lutado com as dores e mesmo ter lutado daquele jeito. There's a lot of he said, she said. I mean, everybody says things, but we knew that it could be either or, right? You would beat Islam or you would beat Topuria. The moment that Jack got the win, they announced it was Islam was gonna move up, so I knew that Ilia.
Was he surprised that Islam moved up?
Você ficou surpreso que ele subiu?
Não. Eu acho que na realidade subiu pelo fato do corte de peso. As últimas vezes que eu tive a oportunidade de
No, not surprised at all. I think it's because of the weight cut. I've had the opportunity, and I think the last couple of opportunities I was able to kind of follow or follow along or be near him or see his weight cut. I just think it was getting hard. You could see he was having difficulty cutting weight. It's a guy it's a great fighter, great champion, have all the respect in the world, and I wish him the best in the welterweight.
Can Ilia Topuria grapple with Charles Oliveira? Charles has submitted more people than anyone in UFC history. If he gets this fight to the ground, can he dominate there? And if he gets knocked down or something, as we have seen before, can Topuria go down to the ground and grapple with him?
Fights are fights. Anything can happen. Fights are fights.
What does Saturday night look like for him?
Na tua cabeça, como é que é o sábado à noite? Como é que vai ser?
meu braço vai ser levantado no final.
My arm gets raised in the end.
This boy, he's the man right here. Guys, Charles do Bronx Oliveira fights for the UFC Lightweight Championship this weekend against Ilia Topuria, trying to reclaim what was once his in one of the greatest title reigns we've seen in a long time. Funnest title fights we've seen in a long time. Make sure you hit that pay-per-view buy button. Support Do Bronx. He's one of your favorite fighters in the world.
Official prediction. Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria. You know, guys, history is very clear on this one. If you were to go back, and you could even bring boxing into it, history is very clear. You've got two former world champions that are going to fight. The smaller world champion, the guy that comes from his weight class, and the younger of the two wins every time. That's a big word for me to use. Every time. Yes, I'm taking Charles Oliveira. So I don't know if I've ever picked Charles. And it's not because I've been late to the greatness that is Charles. I have held against Charles going all the way back to 2012, 2013, nights where he doesn't perform to the best of his abilities. And very few times in this sport is it about the better fighter wins. Every time it's about whoever fights better wins. And it's a rare thing to do, to be able to compete. It's a rare thing to do. What's that mean? Well, when the lights are on, when you're tired, when your weight cut didn't go well, when one of your cornermen that you count on missed his flight and didn't show up, these kinds of things seep into a guy's mind. You're in Charles's spot. You're former champion of the world. You're getting ready to fight Islam Makhachev, #1 pound for pound guy. All of a sudden, Islam's out. Ilia, who you've never envisioned, never once. You lay down at night, you start visualizing, who am I going to fight? What's it going to be like? When my phone rings, who are they going to offer me? He never would have even considered Ilia Topuria. Nobody knew that Ilia Topuria was going to leave the weight class. I mean, it was the best kept secret in MMA. A place where you can't keep a secret. You want to get the word out on something? Telephone, telegraph, or tell a fighter, because none of them can keep their mouth shut. Everybody stayed silent about this.
Chael Sonnen recently raised an eyebrow at how Ilia Topuria has been calling out Islam Makhachev. It's not just the challenge itself that caught his attention. According to Sonnen, there's something strange about the way Topuria is framing. He's not calling for a lightweight title shot. He's not even clearly saying he wants to face Islam at 155 instead. The language is vague. The call-out feels more like a challenge across weight classes than a direct battle for divisional gold. For Chael, that's a red flag and a sign that maybe, just maybe, Topuria is more focused on headlines than belts.
Ilia Topuria starts cutting interviews talking about he would like to fight Islam, but he's not saying at 155 or for the 155 belt. He's saying for the status of pound for pound. Even when Volkanovski went for this champ and wanted the status of pound for pound and wanted to clarify things, he did not relinquish his belt. I, in fact, maintain for you the one thing, and I'm talking about part one, but when Volkanovski and Islam fight, I maintain for you to this day, that was a split decision, to remind you, but the one thing about it is it didn't matter if Volkanovski won or not. It mattered if Islam won. If Volkanovski won that fight, he wakes up Sunday morning the champion of the world. If he loses that fight, Volkanovski wakes up Sunday morning the champion of the world. It was a big deal that he give that belt back, that he walk away with his entire interest from that division. And that is something, just to use current events, that Islam's doing right now. Islam's doing interviews saying, I still want to fight at 55.
Chael Sonnen praised Charles Oliveira's resilience, calling it one of the most underrated weapons in his arsenal. He pointed to Oliveira's legendary comeback against Michael Chandler as the perfect example. That night, Charles was just seconds away from defeat, badly rocked, on the verge of a stoppage. Sonnen emphasized that had the referee stepped in just a moment sooner, Chandler would have been crowned champion, but the ref didn't, and Oliveira, as he's done so many times before, survived the storm and came back and finished the fight.
Ilia Topuria is the one guy that's doing everything that I'm speaking about doing, and I'm leaning towards Charles. How do we get to that conclusion? Well, I'll answer it. Size does matter your first time up, and everybody has a number, but you seldomly in life get found out what your number is.
But Charles didn't fold. He didn't panic. He weathered the storm, kept his composure, and came back in the very next round to knock Michael Chandler, reclaiming the moment on his own terms. According to Chael Sonnen, this is what sets Oliveira apart. It's not just skill, it's mindset. Charles has the ability to survive, adapt, and flip the script, even when he's hanging on by the thinnest thread. And that, Chael says, is exactly why he believes Oliveira can do it again, against a dangerous, undefeated force like Ilia Topuria.
Suffering is a big part of this game. It's a big part of when you leave the locker room and you ask yourself that ultimate and final question, do I deserve to win? Have I sacrificed more than that guy? It's very important that your answer is yes. And for the first time ever, Ilia openly and knowingly has foregone some of the suffering and some of the sacrifice. And I think that Charles is going to wear on him. I think this concept of knocking Charles out is novel, but it's a very difficult thing to do. And I've seen people get very close. I've seen Charles down. I've seen referees step in. I go back to the night that Michael Chandler, I mean, it was one split second of a referee's mind makes Chandler world champion and gets Oliveira out of there, or makes Oliveira survive and walk through that fire. And I just think Charles is going to walk through that fire. I'm going to say that history is going to be shown to be wrong on Saturday. I am taking Charles Oliveira by TKO.
Chael Sonnen recently weighed in on the mindset behind legacy fights and brought up a comparison that caught everyone's attention. He drew a clear contrast between Ilia Topuria's recent call-out of Islam, Makhachev, and Alexander, Volkanovski's legendary challenge of the same man. When Volk moved up to face Islam, he didn't abandon his featherweight crown. He kept it, and he stepped into the cage chasing greatness, knowing he had nothing to lose and everything to gain, in Sonnen's eyes. That's what separates Volkanovski's ambition from others. He risked it all, yet remained rooted in his own division, his own legacy. Sonnen also reminded fans of how close that Islam versus Volk fight truly was. A razor-thin split decision. And here's the reality, he said. If Volkanovski had won, he'd have woken up as the pound-for-pound king. But because he lost, he still had his belt, his fan base, and his reputation intact. The pressure really belonged to Islam. Then Sonnen pivoted back to Charles Oliveira. He admitted that for years he held Oliveira's past against him, pointing to those early UFC days when Charles seemed inconsistent, even disinterested. But this new version? This isn't the same fighter. Today's Charles Oliveira is sharp, seasoned, and undeniably dangerous, and the numbers speak volumes. Both Oliveira and Topuria enter UFC 317 with finish rates hovering around 90%. Charles holds the record for most submissions in UFC history, while Ilia is riding the momentum of consecutive knockouts over legends like Alexander, Volkanovski, and Max Holloway. The betting lines may favor Topuria, and so do several former champions. Jorge Masvidal, Aljamain Sterling, and Israel Adesanya all believe Ilia's speed and power are the deciding factors. Adesanya especially didn't hold back. He praised Topuria's performances against Volk and Holloway, calling them ruthless and clinical. For Izzy, Ilia has earned his respect. As for Oliveira, Adesanya raised concerns. He gets hit too often, he said, noting that Charles has been dropped in 4 of his last 7 fights. If he charges forward recklessly, Ilia is going to find the shot. Still, Izzy acknowledged the unknown. No one has truly tested Topuria's grappling, and if anyone can, it's Charles who takes it. This isn't just a title eliminator. It's a battle for legacy, for pride, for the right to stand atop one of the most dangerous divisions in the sport. On one side, Ilia Topuria, undefeated, relentless, a sniper with his fists and a storm with his pace. He didn't come to compete, he came to conquer. On the other, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira, a man forged by setbacks and reborn as a champion, the most dangerous submission artist in UFC history, a fighter with scars, experience, and the will to overcome anything. Will Topuria's speed and confidence be enough to break through Oliveira's grit and experience? Or will the battle-hardened lion rise once more to reclaim his crown? At UFC 317, we'll get the answer.